All praise to the Most High. He's always by my side. I read His word, stay prayed up. I'm His chosen child, walking through my secret garden, praising His name. And I would never sell my soul for the fortune and fame. So you can sub, you can like. Don't forget to share. But I'm staying true to me because I know these days that is rare. I'm a mom and a wife, 7 kids, up all night. It ain't easy being creative in a big family life, but let's go. Boop. Y'all, I am doing a quick Spanish refresh, so to speak. But I pulled out my handy dandy flashcards. I'm going to go over my flashcards. They have both English and Spanish on the back. Yeah, they have both English and Spanish on the back. So I'm going to be going over these just to do a quick refresh. Like I said, I do speak some Spanish, but since I didn't use it in a while, I kind of fell off a bit. That tends to happen. If you don't use it, you will lose it, most definitely. So we're going to go over a little Spanish this morning, and then after I finish this, I am going to actually watch a movie in Espanol, or shall I say película. I'm going to watch a película in Espanol, and then after that, I'm going to get dressed and do a little exercise or whatnot. So I may do 2 lives today. I'm not sure, but let's go ahead and get into this Spanish session. So I'm going to try to start scheduling out my lives. I hate to even put it out there because, and the reason why I don't put schedules out there is because I have a tendency of every time I try to plan something or try to do something, it never pans out for me if I say it. If I put it out there, it don't go through. Same thing when I purchased my home. Every time I was saying I'm trying to purchase a home or started the process of purchasing a home, it never went through. As soon as I stopped telling people, then that's when it went through. So I kind of don't want to put a schedule out there, but then again, at the same time, I want to let people know that this is just in case it's a live that you're not into, you won't click on it. How about that? So I'm going to try to put the titles as clear as day so that way you won't come in watching something that you're not into, just basically. But I know some people going to do it anyway just so they can nitpick on everything because that's the world we live in. But anyway, let's go ahead and start this quick splash Spanish session. I think that's what I might name it too. Splash Spanish session. I don't know. So we're going to start off with the dresser. La comoda. La comoda. But I have heard some people say tocador, tocador con espejo. That's like the dresser with the big mirror on it. Like I do have one of those dressers in my room. But most of the time you hear them say la comoda. Sound kind of like commode, but that's the dresser. La comoda. La comoda. Try to say it to yourself a few times. La comoda. And picture the dresser while you're saying it. La comoda. La comoda. La comoda. And like I said, sometimes you may hear some people say it differently. Some people might say tocador con espejo or something like that, referring to like the big dresser with the mirror or something like that. So, yeah, la comoda. And like I said, it does have English and Spanish on the back of these flashcards. So these are some great flashcards to have. I kind of prefer for it to just have the target language on there so that way I won't get used to depending on seeing the translated version. La comoda. La comoda or tocador con el espejo. That's that's the way I hear some people saying it. La comoda or tocador con el espejo. There you go. The sing la lavabo, but it's el lavabo. Now, what works for me is good morning, Tam Tam. Good morning. Good morning. You with the blue hearts. You know that's my favorite color, right? Um, Sink. El lavabo. What helps me is every time I see the V, I kind of make a slight B sound, and that helps me. I don't know, but it's lavabo. But if you say it like el lavabo, it just sounds more Spanish to me. It sounds like more of the proper way to say it, but it's el lavabo. You can still say va, but don't make it sound so like va. I don't know. Lava, el lavabo. So you're saying V, but you're just not stressing the V. El lavabo. El lavabo. El lavabo. Sink. So just say it to yourself a few times and picture your sink, your like your kitchen sink or your bathroom sink. El lavabo. El lavabo. That's saying the sink. El lavabo. El lavabo. El lavabo. And think about your sink while you're saying it. El lavabo. El lavabo. The window. La ventana. La ventana. And like I said, every time there's a V, I don't stress the V. I just say it like a slight V, like um, like barely getting it out. But once again, say it to yourself and picture your windows in your living space. La ventana, la ventana, la ventana. And when you say it, look at your windows. La ventana, la ventana. And what also helps me, I should go over there, but what also helps me is when I was teaching the kids, I actually started putting the word next to the window. So we do have in each room, we picked at least one window. Well, I picked at least one window, and I would put the Spanish word next to one of the windows, la ventana, la ventana. And I have that all around the house still. They have been up there for years, but just remind yourself to look at the object when you say it. La ventana, la ventana. You see how when I say ventana, I'm not saying like la ventana. I'm saying like la ventana, la ventana. And think about the windows. La cama, la cama, la cama. And once again, think about it. Say it to yourself a few times. La cama. And think about the bed. La cama, la cama, la cama. Some people even do word association. But if you're good with word associations, just find something that you feel like associates it with that word with that object. La cama, la cama, la cama. Think about your bed and say it to yourself a few times. La cama, la cama. Now this one I have a problem saying. El escritorio. El escritorio. El escritorio. But I remember it because the word kind of sounds like to scribe, to write. So you sit at your desk and you write. So that's the word association I have with the desk is el el escritorio, el escritorio. And I have a problem saying this word, but I know it when I hear it. That's my problem. Sometimes I know the words when I hear it, but I have problems with actually saying the word. So I'm working on that. El escritorio. El escritorio. So look at your desk or think about your desk. El escritorio. El escritorio. Think how you scribe, how you sit and you scribe. You're sitting at your desk. El escritorio. El escritorio. El escritorio. And I need to figure out a way. I've already tried trying to do the mirroring effect to try to flip my camera, but it doesn't work on this phone. My last phone, you can do it, but on this one you can't. El escritorio. El escritorio. Estufa. La estufa. La estufa. Kind of sound like stove. You're just saying like a U sound instead of saying stove. You're saying stufa. So estufa. La estufa. La estufa. It kind of sounds like stove. Think about your stove. La estufa. La estufa. La televisión. La televisión. La televisión. La televisión. The key. La llave. La llave. Like I said, the V is not a strong V. It's like a light V. Um, like you're barely pronouncing the V. La llave. La llave. Um, woo, my lid's falling asleep. La llave. La llave. And y'all already probably know, but when you see the two L's together, it makes a Y sound. So that's llave. La llave. The key. La llave. La llave. This is the letter. La escalera. So um, it actually, the stairs, the ladder, and climbing kind of sound the same. La escalera. La escalera. Think about the escalators. Like if you go to a mall or something and you get on the escalator, word association. La escalera. La escalera. The ladder. La escalera. La lámpara. La lámpara. La lámpara. La lámpara. La mesa. Now, when I first started learning Spanish, do you know what word association or what made me remember the table? My kids were always leaving a mess on the table. Right after I would clean it, it would seem like not even an hour later, it's all kind of like half empty water bottles on the table, or toys or projects they have started and just didn't finish them, or little experiments they was doing, Play-Doh. It was always a mess at the table that I had to clean. So my word association for the table when I first started learning Spanish was a mess. So the Spanish word for table is la mesa. La mesa. And you can always think of things that will make you remember the word for it. It can be silly to you, but if it gets you to remember it, I say go with it. Because to this day, that's how I remember that the table is la mesa. La mesa. La mesa. Just think of it in your head and say it a few times. La mesa. La mesa. El guante. El guante. This is the mitten. So I barely say this one. I don't even know why this is still even in here, because the ones that I barely say or that I hardly ever use, I normally kick those out the deck because I only want to concentrate on the words that I use often. So having something in there like mitten, and we barely wear mittens around here. We wear gloves when it's like snowing or something, but barely wear mittens. So I'm kicking that one out the deck today. Um, el teléfono. El teléfono, that's another one of those words that sounds so, it's the word basically. El teléfono. And then sometimes if you get deep into a conversation, once you get into like the intermediate stages, you're not going to sit there saying el teléfono for every conversation. You're going to start saying la tele, la tele. Like like they called on the phone. You not gonna say you, well, you may, but you're gonna hear a lot of people saying la tele, like the on the phone or something. And it's gonna either be la tele or el teléfono. El teléfono. But that's another one of those words where it's pretty much the word. Hello, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. La silla, the chair. La silla, la silla. Welcome in, welcome in. The pencil, el lápiz, el lápiz. This is another one that in the beginning, I really wanted to know how to say some of the things that I use often. So when the kids would be doing their homework or something, I would ask them to get their pencil, get their paper, and I would words like this I really wanted to know. So I made sure I kept these in the deck and I made sure I wrote them down on a piece of paper over and over and over again. Good morning, OK Lounge. So that's el lápiz, el lápiz, el lápiz. Another one that I wanted to learn when I first started was like sign here, firma aquí. So when you want, like if you work in an office setting or something like that, you want to be able to tell the people to sign here. So that was another one that I learned in the beginning. Um, I told y'all I like to learn chunks or phrases. So firma aquí was very important for me, and letting them know not to use pencil and to use pen, la pluma, and no lápiz. So this is el lápiz. Always try, if you're going to learn a language, always try to learn the vocabulary that you know you use often first. I really am a stickler about that. Don't try to top the next person. Don't try to learn a whole bunch all at one time. Learn the phrases that you know you say almost every day. Like I said before in another live, um, I have a lot of kids. So a lot of the phrases that um, we started with were things like put that in the trash, poner en la basura, or close the door, cierra la puerta, or just things like that. Abahade, get down. Like so always try to learn the phrases that you use often and try to keep working on your vocabulary, because the more you work on your vocabulary, then you'll be able to put sentences together in your head. And then if you start listening to music in Spanish or watching the movies in Spanish, then you'll start to pick up on some of the conversations, and it'll boost you up. It'll make you feel like, you know what, I could do this. So that's just a pointer for me. Like el libro, the book, el libro, el libro. Say it to yourself and think of a book. Actually, think of a book in your head. El libro, the book, the book. We have an author in the room. Um, she know I like to mention it. OK Lounge, she's an author, y'all. So yes, she may want to know things like the book or my book, mi libro. Like use the words that y'all know that you're gonna use often. Thank you, Minister Terry Jones. I love to see when he comes into the chat. El libro, el libro, libro. And when you pronounce it, don't think about it too hard. Don't try to pronounce like el libro like that. Like, no, try to actually say it the way you would hear a native speaker saying it, el libro. And then just keep working with it, keep saying it, and it'll start sounding more and more um, like a native speaker. El libro, el libro. Just let it flow. Don't force it. La carta, la carta. A letter. A lot of people don't write letters anymore, but this is a good one to learn. La carta. Like if somebody received a letter, or if you're working in an office setting, if someone left someone else a letter at the front desk with you, you want to be able to relay that message that they have a letter or that they have a note at the desk. La carta. La carta. Thank you, OK Lounge. Okay. Um, I wanted to I wanted to get into something like that because now that I need to find work probably from home, my husband actually was telling me that since I love languages, I may need to get into something with like customer service because when he was in the hospital, the person who was his translator on the screen was actually working from home, and the hospital just calls them in when they have a patient that speaks another language, and whoever is available at that time, they pop up on the screen and they translate everything that the nurses and the doctors are saying to the patient. So my husband was looking at me like, well, that's what you need to be doing. But he don't understand. You have to have certain certifications and everything to do that. You have to. So I don't know. Maybe I'll try la carta. La carta. La pluma. Like I said, la pluma is a really good one to learn la pluma because if you're working at a front desk or something, like I said, if they have to sign, you want to let them know that to sign in pen. If you have some pens on your desk, you want to let them know like use a pen, no pencil. You want to be able to tell them to sign here. You want to be able to ask them if they need any help. Necesita ayudar, that's need help. Necesito ayudar. And the way you ask is they know it's a question in the way that you say it. So, necesita ayudar, necesita ayudar, that's like need help. And you would tell them to use a pen to sign. So, it's just simple words like this la pluma, el crayon, el crayon. And when you see it like this, you say on, el crayon, el crayon. And la pelota, la pelota. And I learned ball when I would associate it with the kids playing. And instead of play, I would say pe. So I don't even know how to explain this. So instead of saying play, I would say pe. And that reminded me that the word for ball was pelota. La pelota. La pelota. El reloj. El reloj. Now the J sounds like a H. El reloj. El reloj. El reloj. And watch, people don't really wear watches no more. El reloj. El reloj. But you would just, gesture to your wrist. El reloj. Cepillo de dientes. El cepillo de dientes. El cepillo de dientes. So that's basically saying the brush of the teeth. The brush of the teeth. El cepillo de dientes. Because if you want to say brush of the hair, brush for the hair, you would say cepillo de pelo. Cepillo de pelo. So cepillo is like the brush, el cepillo, and then you add on what the brush is for. So this is the brush for your teeth. So it's el cepillo de dientes or dientes. El cepillo de dientes. La camisa. Now, I don't know if Tam Tam is still in here, but a really good way to get your kids really into Spanish is when they get dressed in the morning, start saying the clothing items in Spanish. We do this when the kids are really little, all the way up. Like we mentioned their socks, their shoes. Like if they think they finna walk out the door to play or something and they don't have their shoes on, we ask them in Spanish where are their shoes. Zapatos, zapatos. Like so. if Tam Tam is still in the chat, a really good way to get your younger ones to really love Spanish is start saying their clothing items in Spanish in the morning, and they will get used to it and they will start saying it in the morning. So for shirt, you say la camisa, la camisa, and you would put their shirt on or have them put their shirt on and you would say it a few times, la camisa, or give them a choice, hold up two shirts and say la camisa, and ask them like which one they want to wear, la camisa, la camisa. This is the another one that sounds just the same. El botón, el botón, or botón. So I've heard my mother-in-law say botón, but you know, it's the same thing. It sounds the same. You'll know what they're saying and they'll know what you're saying. You took Spanish in high school? Um, I took Spanish in high school and I would have never thought in a million years that I would actually enjoy it now, because in high school my Spanish teacher was getting on me all the time about, he actually made me sit at the table with him because he felt like I was more interested than the others, but I never would have thought in a million years that I would be using it as much as I do now. Let me say, the basics. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis. You would be surprised at how many people tell me that when they hear me actually speaking in Spanish, they be like, uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco. And I was on the phone with my sister-in-law yesterday, and I went to the farmer's market, and she was saying like how I speak Spanish. She was saying like, girl, you just be letting it flow, but if you use it enough, it will start to come easy. So when I go somewhere where they speak Spanish, I will ask them, ¿Puedo practicar mi español contigo? And that's me asking them, can I practice my Spanish with you? So I was on the phone with my sister-in-law, and the lady that was trying to help me, she was telling me how much everything costs by the pound. So I wanted her to say it to me in Spanish. So I asked her, ¿Puedo practicar mi español contigo? That's, can I practice my Spanish with you? Um, she said, ¿Hablo español? So when I asked her, she was like, see, and she started telling me how much everything costs by the pound in Spanish, and she started saying the fruits in Spanish. And she was actually a little surprised because I knew what I wanted in Spanish. I knew the fruits. So y'all just keep working on it, and it'll come out. It'll come out. But do it at your own pace and do it because it's something you want to do. Don't do it because I'm gonna try to top the next person, or I'm gonna try to show off this and that. Or don't do it because you want to say, well, I got a sister cousin friend that speaks Spanish or whatever, because you're gonna lose it. But if you really do it because you enjoy doing it, and you enjoy being able to communicate with somebody else, then that's when you're gonna stick with it. El casco, el casco, the helmet. But I will admit, I've heard some Spanish speakers say a different word for this one. I forgot what it was, but it just depends on where their origin is. It depends on where they're from. Like my husband is from Mexico, so his Spanish is different from somebody who's from like Puerto Rico or something. This the Spanish is kind of the same, but some of their words are a little different. Thank you. I think I'm going to start doing this at least once a week with the Spanish, but I don't want to leave my German out because the German is one that I'm really, really trying to grasp hold to right now. So the Spanish is like a review for me. But like I was saying with the helmet, I've heard people say helmet in different forms. gafas. What did I say? Los lentes. What did I say? But anyway, los lentes. So this word association, slow down, Renee, is lens. I think of lens. Los lentes. Los lentes. El vestido. El vestido. That's another one. Like if you're getting dressed in the morning, el vestido, the dress. El vestido. Cintarón. El cintarón. Another word association with this one is you put the belt around the center so you can remember cinturón. Cinturón. Thank you. El cintarón. And coats, el abrigo. Abrigo. And one of the word associations me and my older son had with this one when he was younger is he associated coat with I'm about to go. So he knew it was something go. So abrigo or I'm about to go or something like that. And if you keep saying el abrigo and keep thinking of I'm about to go and you imagine yourself putting your jacket on or your coat on, um, that's a good one. That's a good way to remember abrigo, coat, el abrigo. But try not to use the English. Like, I don't like these cards that much because it has the English and Spanish on it. And I prefer to just have my target language on my cards. I don't mind at all. I sure will. I sure will. El abrigo. El abrigo. Thank you for that suggestion. I will do that. La gorra. Now, when you see the two R's together, rrr, rrr, la gorra. La gorra. This is another one. When you're getting dressed, las medias. Las medias. But my husband doesn't say las medias. When he's helping get the twins ready, he say casatinas. Casatinas. So some people will say las medias, and some people will say casatinas. So it's like I said, it depends on their origin, where they're from. But a lot of Mexicans will say casatinas, casatinas, but more um, like Spain speakers will say um, medias. So it's good to know both. It's good to know both. Los zapatos. We say this one in our house a lot. A lot. Zapatos. Shoes. What are your shoes? ¿Dónde está zapatos? They get ready to go outside thinking they finna go outside barefoot. ¿Dónde está zapatos? Where are the shoes? Where are your shoes? Zapatos. Los zapatos. Say it to yourself. Imagine seeing those shoes. Imagine the shoes sitting by your door and just say it to yourself. Zapatos. Zapatos. Botas. This one is an easy one because it sounds just like what it is. Las botas. Las botas. Paraguas. Now, my oldest son, when he was speaking Spanish, he just kind of don't even speak Spanish no more. But he associated this one with rainwater. So agua is water in Spanish. Agua. So he associated with is for the water. It's for the water. It's for the rain. So paraguas. He when he first started talking, he didn't start talking till he was 6. But when he first started talking, okay, boots on the ground. When he first started talking, he learned by word association. And that was one of the things that he would tell me. He would say, "Well, I know it's for the water, it's for the rainwater." So, and he knew para meant for the, so paraguas. So el paraguas, um, for umbrella. But there is like 2 or 3 different ways you could say umbrella, but that's just how we did it. So this one is escoba, the broom. La escoba, la escoba. And just imagine yourself sweeping when you say it to yourself. La escoba, escoba, escoba. La escoba, escoba. Mapa, that's another one that's is the word is the word. El mapa, el mapa. Cochilla. El cochecito del bebé. El cochecito del bebé. So it's a coach for the baby. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's what it is. El cochecito. And when you saying like little cochecito, el cochecito del bebé. El cochecito del bebé. El plato. El plato. El plato. Cuchara. La cuchara. La cuchara. El tinador. El tinador. Imagine yourself eating your pasta or eating your salad or something with your fork and say it to yourself. El tenedor. El tenedor. El tenedor. El cuchillo. El cuchillo. El cuchillo. I think I'm having like a brain freeze or something. El cuchillo. El frasco. And you will hear some people say la jara. La jara. Like like with the J, but the J is pronounced as a H. La jara. So instead of saying the jar, you say la jara or el frasco. El frasco. So that's all my cards, y'all. And I am going to sit here and watch a quick little maybe television show or a movie in Spanish. That's what I like to do after I do a quick review. I like watching like comedy. I like watching kid shows in Spanish. I'm trying to think what's the other one that I like that's like a TV show, but it's really, I think it's like the Peluche family, the family of fur or something like that. But I like watching them because they're really funny. But thanks you guys for sitting with me and helping me to practice my Spanish. And hopefully we will get better and better along the way. And I did not forget about my German, but I wanted to do a quick refresh. And I will be working on a playlist, so be on the lookout for that. Thank you. Y'all know how I do it. Until next time, gracias por ver. Thanks for watching. Adios. Bye.